he kind of deferred a lot to coaches, what they wanted in players. He kind of insinuated. And another thing I didn't like that he said that I was like, are you kidding me? When he basically he was insinuating that I'll get back to it. I'm trying to get my words.
Let me address that, and you can get your thought together.
Because that first one,
that was my question. I've written about it. He knows about it. Steve Ross has addressed it with him. The whole organization. He is not a man of convictions, and he is not. And here's the thing. This is kind of my problem with the whole situation, because I thought that was not a blame pointing. I thought that was a fingers pointing at me. Because he said this to me, and he stands on this. And this has been since Mike Tannenbaum has been the GM. Since Mike Tannenbaum was there and he's been in the GM role. The draft, that's me. That's all me. I own it. All those picks are mine. Every single one of those picks, they go on my resume. This is quote for quote from Chris Grier. So I think what he's saying is I've had so many different coaches and so many different regimes, and so many different coaches wanted so many different things. I always have to be accommodating to what they want, what they prefer, what they need. However, there comes a point where if there's a disagreement on a pick, I need to not defer and go with what this guy wants. I need to go with my gut. I need to go with my instincts, and because ultimately I'm accountable. And in too many instances, I think he feels as if he has deferred and deflected. Like, I remember I wrote a story when he became the GM in 2016, talking to a lot of people who worked with him. And the main complaint or the main criticism was, I've been in a room with him for 10 years. He never has a conviction. He never is like on the table. This is my guy. We got like, but in instances, there have been times where we come down to the Minka Fitzpatrick draft. And that became a big fight over what to do, including the owner. And Chris Grier basically shut everybody up and said, we are doing this. This is the plan we came into the draft with. It's sitting right there. We're taking Minka Fitzpatrick. Conversation over. So we can't sit here and say that he's never done it. The problem is that there are too many instances where he has let other people take the lead and it's blown up in his face. So I think what he's saying is, I got to stick with my gut, my convictions, my belief, because ultimately this is on my resume. This is me. This is my job.
But I agree with that, Omar. The problem that I have with him saying it in public, though, is almost like, now give me a few years and I'll show you what I do. Almost like buying time to me. That's kind of how I feel to have brought that out in public. And then the second thing, and then I'll be done with it. When he compared himself about, we want to win because to get y'all off our back, right? When he said that, he said, but it's funny, there's winning coaches and general managers out there and people call for them to be fired. Stop comparing yourself to them, though, because you're not a winning. That's not what's happening. He's trying to compare himself to people that's at the top of organizations that have actually won Super Bowls and stuff. That's not you.
Can I chime in here? Here's the thing. And I would surmise and make the argument that his ability or willingness, however you want to call it, to either defer or bow to his coaches kind of played a role in him still being around after 25 years with the organization and all those years as a GM and all that. And particularly when you hear Stephen Ross, what's the magic word that he used in that statement?
Collaboratively.
I love collaboration. Well,
always.
Here's the poster child for collaboration.
We're like criticizing him now and it's true, we are criticizing him, and so is Steve Ross, but we're criticizing him for exactly what's put him in power.
And this is why I always say Chris Grier's ability to survive is second to none, because he's always in a position where even if a decision is made, it's almost like I just personally feel like it's almost like he makes a decision, but he gets you to make it.
That's
No.
cool.
That's kind of how I feel. Like it's where is his like you talked about it though just now, Omar. You said that, well, I feel like he was owning it. Well, where's you even said earlier he does have accountability, but where's the accountability of owning all of this stuff?
Oh, I think he's very accountable for owning.
Not him being accountable. Where is his accountability?
What do you mean? Who is holding? I don't know how to answer that question, because I've always, despite what people think I think about Chris Grier, or despite what was said,
You hate him.
hey,
You hate him.
but I love the fact that he's always been accountable. He's always owned up to his mistakes. He's always been transparent and honest and candid. I can't tell you a moment where we've caught him in a lie. I think today may be a lie, because I don't know if Rams did, I don't know.
Want to be traded, but he's okay with it.
Yeah, Jalen might not have asked you for a trade, but maybe his agent did. It's semantics. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is, and this is probably where I fall into, and I as I told you guys, I've said on Joe Rose show, I have really had to analyze myself whether or not I've been fair to him, because I've been highly critical of him, because I don't think he's very good at his job.
So back off.
He listens to the show.
Yeah. But here's the thing: have I been fair? Because he's an easy mark right now, and he's the guy everybody. He said it himself. Everybody wants to be fired. Like, he knows it. Like this. Like, imagine you're in a town, you're responsible for the number one team. You can't even go to Publix without people looking at you like,
oh my God,
that damn Chris Grier, why he ain't fired yet? Like,
he gets a tender sub. There's a Band-Aid in it.
Sub in peace. Like, you can't even pump your gas. That's gotta be a hard existence. He acknowledges today too, which is
the life of a general manager.
Here's the thing, Omar, because you said he never lied to us. No, I don't believe he's that flat out lied to us. He also knows very well how to use the words to kind of like dance around what he needs to dance around. And for example, when he's talking about Tyreek today, I hope everyone understands this. There's certain things there's no way he can rag on Tyreek if in the back of his mind that the Dolphins are thinking about trading him. The last thing they're going to do is dump on him publicly.
Hurt his value.
Exactly.
2 first-round picks.
Exactly. Yeah, good luck getting that.
You want him for first-round picks?
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, but Alan,
sir,
he didn't rule out a quarterback in the first round though. He's saying he's not. No, Omar, you did that on Twitter. You put half the quote on Twitter. He put half the quote. He said, "I don't plan on getting a quarterback in the first round because we have our starting quarterback, but I wouldn't rule it out." He said that at the end.
He did not say I wouldn't rule it out.
No. I have the quote. I have the exact quote. Hold on. I have the exact quote.
Thank you.
I would, because it was my question. Okay. And,
yes, it was.
I asked it.
That's why we got you guys on the show, man. You guys killer questions.
Purely because Adam Schefter threw it out there. He goes like, "You looking for a wild card team for Shedeur Sanders if he's available?" The Miami Dolphins. So that's why I asked. The quote was, "I would say we have our starting quarterback, so I wouldn't be looking to it. I never rule anything out, but I would not be looking to draft a quarterback in the first round."
So, and that is to get drafted.
I wouldn't rule it out. We're not ruling it out.